Hi there, I am Veronique Lorec from the University of Western Australia. Welcome to this course on the economics of natural hazards. I have created this video series for anyone in the natural hazards and emergency management sectors that is interested in learning how we apply economic analysis to the management of natural hazards. This project is funded by the Bushfire and Natural Hazards Cooperative Research Centre. Welcome to the fifth video in this series. In this video, we'll talk about money transfers, such as donations and insurance payments, and discuss whether we need to include them or not in economic analysis of mitigation options. This is a tricky point. Some economic analysis of natural hazards includes the benefits resulting from the natural hazards, such as insurance payments, payments by government, recovery and restoration programs, aid funds, donations, and the economic activity that could be generated in the affected area. So, for example, an economic boost to the construction industry. In some, they correspond to all the money that flows into the area following an event. Several guidelines on disaster loss assessment suggest integrating these benefits in economic analysis of disaster impacts, because they may partly offset the tangible losses suffered. However, integrating these inflows of money is only useful when the impact to communities in the area affected by the hazard needs to be evaluated in order to make political decisions. These decisions will mostly relate to questions such as which segments of the population require additional help, which sectors of the economy have been most affected or will be most vulnerable as a result of the hazard. What changes need to be made to strategic economic plans at the regional level after the event? So those are the questions that we will be answering if we were to include inflows of money from donations, from insurance payments, etc. In other words, these are all the decisions that will be done post-event and not before the event, so they don't necessarily involve mitigation. These are the questions that are dealt with at the political level and not necessarily relevant to natural hazard management when they're making decisions about resource allocation for mitigation. These inflows of money should actually not be included in economic analysis of mitigation because they might actually result in a biased result. When we're doing an economic analysis to help strategic decision making for mitigation, which involves decisions such as where to place prescribed burns, what will be gained with the implementation of a warning system, or how do we preposition resources for firefighting, do we build a dam or not build a dam, how do we allocate resources to mitigation activities, how much do we invest in education campaigns, or which power lines should we prioritize for maintenance? When we're dealing with those kind of questions, in this case, if we include the potential inflows of money into the relevant region of interest that we are studying, we can create biases in the allocations of resources for mitigation. So that's the reason that we don't want to include them in this case. So it really depends on what question we are answering, and that determines the design of the economic analysis. It's really important that we think about that. So, for instance, if the predicted money that households will receive from insurance payments or donations is substantial and almost offsets the potential residential building losses, decisions then could be biased towards little mitigation around houses. In other words, hazard management agencies cannot decide that mitigation in one area should be reduced because the predicted inflow of funds will be substantial. So in this case, we can conclude that it is definitely better not to include these payments in analysis conducted prior to an event happening, which is what we're doing here and is what we are explaining in this course. So when we're looking at strategic analysis to plan mitigation strategies before a hazard event occurs. In summary, whether we include money transfers or not in an economic analysis, again, depends on the questions we want to answer. Generally, when we are conducting economic analysis of mitigation options to make decisions about resource allocation for mitigation, we should not include influence of money into the case study area, such as insurance payments, donations, or potential boost to economic activity in the region affected. For other analyses that do not deal with mitigation decisions, it also depends on what questions we want to answer. So that means that there is not a type of economic analysis for which we include money transfers and others for which we don't. It really depends on what decisions we want the analysis to help us with. Okay, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. In the next video, we will look at how to estimate average annual damage.